Yeah, because if you're in now, then that means that you're the host and it started the meeting.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But I didn't realize that there was no meeting room, so now you don't have to admit anybody, and you can just start sharing your screen from the beginning, and you're fine.
Okay, perfect. So then you don't need to, I mean, I'd love for you to be here, but I wasn't, like, if you're busy, I don't want you to feel stressed about it.
Yeah, I'll be on. I probably won't have my camera on or anything. I'll just be listening in.
I think you should get the party started.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen here.
Oh God, I'll stop eating now that we're recording.
Okay. Okay, wait 1 second. I'm so
Paris,
sorry.
are you really? Look at you. Look at her, you guys. She's so snuggled in there. I'm
Okay.
jealous.
Totally off topic, but if you guys know anybody that is wanting to get their real estate license, Utah Real Estate School, I think is what it is. I don't know. The CE shop is having 40% off on the classes tomorrow only.
Wow, that's
Sweet.
great.
I'll send this to you, Paris. It's probably a good thing to put on the Facebook page.
Deal. Yeah, that is. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a great deal. I don't know
Thank you for
anybody
that.
though.
Here. We got to negotiate good deals. Segue.
Exactly. Okay, here I'm gonna, okay, we are recording. Let me share my screen. Share this one. Can you guys all see it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna adjust this really fast so I can see you. Okay, so basically, you know what this is about, how to negotiate relationships to get the business. You know, with Liz, we had discussed doing like a negotiations and tactics class. And as I started thinking about it, I didn't know exactly like what that meant to me. Specifically, you know, when he says this, you say that. It's more of something that happens throughout the entire process. And so that's kind of what we're gonna get into today. I've just got a little video for you. If you guys like Flight of the Conchords.
Well, that's why we need to talk to you. We need to negotiate a deal, and we've got no idea how to do it. Well, good luck for you then, because you're only in Dave's House of Deals. D in my name stands for deal. Did you know that the word Dave actually means deal in Latino? Doing a deal is easy, as long as you know how. How much will you give me for this? $1. Double it. $2. Double it again. $4. Sold. What's that? What? I just made him pay nearly 10 times what he wanted to pay in the first place. You just manipulated him. It's called the Dave Double Down technique. I didn't think I got that macrame out.
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, thanks,
So
man.
there's your pen. Just give me my $4. $4, please.
I thought it was an exercise.
Yeah, you got to learn the whole lesson. That's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna waive the tax. Thanks for the table and good luck out there, guys.
Okay, obviously that's not how to do a deal. But yeah, so I've been negotiating more now than I ever have in my whole career. And it's been quite a ride. You know, I've been working with Keller Williams for like Marley, Beth, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I've been working with Keller Williams for about 4.5 years now. Before that, I was with another brokerage for 2 years. And before that, out of Utah, I've sold in Las Vegas and in London. So, you know, my track record here in Salt Lake, when I started selling with Keller Williams, I came to Keller Williams to learn more, you know, get more training, learn more about what I needed to be doing properly instead of being at this discount brokerage that was very hands-off. And so I started getting, you know, I started doing pretty well right out the gate. I think, you know, in 2008, I sold about 6 million, and that was the most I'd ever sold. And I was so nervous the following year in 2019 that I kind of was like analysis paralysis. I did everything I thought that they told me, I thought I should do, that they told me to do, and I was doing everything that wasn't really coming naturally to me. And so now this year I've kind of really come back into my own. I went back to basics and figured out how it is that I can, you know, do high volume and make it to where I have these lasting relationships with agents, with my clients, and and my colleagues. So that's what I've really been focusing on this year. Year to date, I've sold 13 million, and I'm on track of hitting my goal at 15 million.
Whoa,
Um,
congratulations.
Okay, hold on now.
Wait, say it again. What did you say?
I've sold 13 million this year, and I'm on track for 15.
How many
So
units is that?
Awesome.
So I've done a lot of negotiating this year, and this is kind of how I do it. I believe it's kind of something that goes all the way through the process. It's not just certain times during the transaction. So how I kind of want to do this is I'm going to lay out what I do and how I do it. But I do want to go through quickly, what is it that you guys are struggling with when it comes to negotiations? And let's just jot those down. And at the end, if your answers or your struggles haven't been addressed and we haven't figured out a way to overcome it, then let's do it together at the end. Okay.
Tell me
So,
really quick how many units you're at. I don't compute volume, sorry.
22.
Good, that's awesome.
Thanks. Thank
Amazing.
you. Okay, so Liz, let's start with you then. So is there anything that particularly you struggle with when it comes to negotiating, or are you just here to kind of like get a gist of it all, or?
So, and I don't know if you can really answer this, because the thing I struggle with is if I get somebody that's a different personality type than me on the other side.
Okay.
I would say obviously the hardest to negotiate with are the agents that don't want to talk to you. That's probably the hardest. Most of the people are D's and I's, and so I can usually do pretty well with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I can't connect with the agent, that's when I struggle.
Yeah, and I think I have a tip for that. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully. Beth, what is do you have anything in particular that you're hoping to get out of the class?
Well, I'm here just because I'm so impressed with
Oh.
the jump from last year to this year. Like in 1 year, it's like a mind blow for me. Like,
And me too.
I'm like, we can actually grow that month in 1 year being solo agent. It just seems like a lot. But I would say like for the negotiation for me is, the clients I have so far, everyone gives me 5-star ratings. They all have different things that they like about what I brought to the deal.
Right.
But I want to negotiate getting referrals then.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. That's great. And we'll go over that. It's not in the plan, but I know exactly what to do for you. Because I have a lot of my business this year has been referral based. KP, what you got for me?
Rach, it's me.
My North Star.
You're my North Star. Rachel and I, we've worked together. And I am currently I'm coming out of my analysis paralysis. So I'm really listening for just like a shift in maybe mindset, style, and like you said, kind of listening for what I think my way could be in this whole negotiating process.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm listening for. And I guess I'd also add like I haven't done a ton of deals this year, you guys, but I had one of my bigger deals almost fall apart with COVID stuff. So if there's anything you've done around that conversation for people who are scared or hesitant or whatever, I think that would be really useful for the moment. So
yeah, scared and hesitant is a big part of this. Yeah. So we'll go through that. Okay. Thanks, Paris.
Yeah.
Miss Marley, what you got for me? Anything in particular?
Well, I want somebody to giving me a kick in the butt so I can get going. I came for this class so I can get inspired, and I see a lot of successful people in front of me here. That makes me feel wonderful. I can always learn something. So I'm just excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, hopefully we can, inspire something there. I understand your situation's a little tricky with the COVID stuff, but there's so many amazing people in our office that you can lean on and be able to find that inspiration no matter where you're at. So, okay, let's see. And then Phoenix, are you on? Can't tell.
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi. So do you have something? Hi. Don't crash.
No, I'm not driving. Yeah, I'm getting
Oh,
coffee.
okay.
I would say the only thing that I like have been kind of struggling with is just, I guess, kind of understanding how, kind of like the tricks, like, okay, this is when you could waive an appraisal condition. This is like just those little things. So I'm like, I don't feel like I've had huge issues in terms of like, you know, how to make my offer stand out with like a buyer letter. Like we all know that. I think for me, it's kind of the like, what are you seeing that's winning?
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely go over that. Thanks for that input. I can send you a few things that I do, but yeah, let's just get into it. So where I'm going with this today, and how I kind of set up the business, no matter where we are in the transaction, whether I'm on a cold call, if I'm meeting up with a potential buyer, if I'm presenting an offer, if I'm accepting an offer from my seller, everything in real estate is a negotiation. It is from the beginning of everything, from when you're setting it up to when you're deciding on, you know, what day you're going to close the transaction, or what time, you know. So that being said, that's kind of the ground foundation of where I come from when it comes to negotiating. I start it way beyond and way before anyone feels like they're actually in a negotiation situation. Okay, and that being said, so managing expectations and addressing fears up front is going to lay the groundwork for smooth negotiations down the road. It doesn't necessarily need to be something where, you know, everyone's got to get their guard up and we're going to war, like we're going to, you know, have this, you know, I've got to win this conversation. When he says this, I'm going to say that. No, if you've already laid the groundwork, then most of the time the negotiation will kind of take care of itself. And I've found if I do this and I'm very thorough with it up front, it's such a smoother process, and people will respond well to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And this little tip says you don't have to be assertive or pushy to get what you want. Remember, at Keller Williams, we focus on the win-win. Okay, so this is kind of my 4-step process. That this is where I go with it. And number 2 and 3, they can be interchangeable depending on where we are in the process. So I just can get my notes here so I'm not messing anything up. Okay, so obviously being relentlessly nice. People want to do things for you if they like you. You know, it's amazing how much, you know, bees you can attract with honey, right? People don't think about people even, okay, let's say like you're working with an agent and down the road, they're going to remember you based on how you made them feel, not by the little mistake you made or what you said. They're really going to want to know if you were present, if you made them feel good and you were upfront, thorough, nice. It goes a long way. It goes further than I think people realize, especially in this day and age. We're having such a hard time with COVID. Everyone's dealing with their own struggles. People need someone being nice. You know, the political realm world is a nightmare. Like, let's just be kind to each other. It really makes a difference. And sadly, it's few and far between lately. So when you're really nice to somebody, be surprised the reaction you get. So that is a huge part of my business. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're an appraiser, if you're an inspector, an electrician, a client, an agent on the other side, kill them with kindness, always. Now, let's see. Now this is gonna sound kind of funny, but I read a quote that I really liked a while back, and it's the upper side of negotiations is giving the other side the illusion of control. And sometimes, I'm not saying that we want to, you know, be fake and phony when it comes to being kind, but we're doing all of these things, we're setting it up for a purpose, right? We want to make a smooth transaction. We want to have repeat business. We want to create relationships with agents on the other side that are long lasting. And when they see your name pop up on showing time, they're excited that you're out showing their listing, or vice versa. So, but doing this and having that relationship, you really are taking control, and you're doing it without, but it kind of puts the other side's guard down. You see what I mean? So you're giving them control, the illusion of control, but really you know what you're doing, right? There's a purpose to this. Okay, so steps 2 and 3, preemptively address worries and tell them your game plan. And then the other one is ask questions and find the hesitation. So Paris, this is what you'd mentioned about people being scared and finding hesitation. This might work for you. So depending on the situation, these will be interchangeable. And so we're going to just kind of go through different scenarios and address them. And just, I'll give you ideas of how I work each scenario. Okay. So using these steps with the seller agent. So the seller's agent, obviously, they might be looking at 3 or 4 different offers. But you guys have heard this before. Before we even show the house, we schedule it through showing time and give the agent a call. Create the relationship, be relentlessly nice. Say, listen, hey, just letting you know, I'm excited to show your listing on Thursday. You know, this is exactly what my clients are looking for. Is there anything, ask the questions. Is there anything that I need to know about the house before showing it that would make this, you know, showing a little more successful? Yes, blah, 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 blah. Get them talking, create the relationship. Ask as many questions as possible. If she's kind of holding back a little bit, there's a hesitation. Oh, I noticed you hesitated when I asked you about, you know, the roof, or, you know, what was that about? And then she realizes she's listening, you know, kind of starts to create a relationship, forms a bond. Most people just fly through these conversations and they don't really slow down to take in what the other person's saying. They're checking a box. So find the hesitations, ask the questions, create the rapport. Okay, then you go show the house is great. You come back again. Listen, we're putting in an offer. This is where we're at. And you start addressing everything. The reason why you want to start addressing all of their fears before they even, you're going to preemptively address all of their fears or concerns before they even ask it. So this is, I've got a pre-approval letter. I've spoken to their lender. I've worked with this lender before. You want to vet the lender with the agent. You know, they have this much earnest money down. This is how much money they're going to put down towards their loan. They have, you know, great credit, the ability to close. We're going to close in 3 weeks. We've already discussed an inspection and we've discussed the appraisal process. They understand we're not going to nickel and dime you over GFCI outlets or, you know, the carpet that we noticed in the basement that's already kind of peeling a little bit. They did see that, so that's not based on our offer. But just know that this will be a smooth transaction. So now you've already addressed everything that the client's going to be worried about, the seller's going to worry about, and start asking that agent. You've made that agent's job so much easier. She already likes you for that purpose. You've created trust, and there's some issues there. So now also when it goes to the negotiations, you're also going to mention, listen, we're only looking for big ticket items and safety concerns. So when it does come up that you have to negotiate a new furnace, I told you in the beginning, you know, we are looking for safety concerns or big ticket issues, items, whatever. And unfortunately, yeah, the furnace is completely shot. So you've already laid the groundwork before when you have to go and negotiate those terms. So that helps quite a bit, just laying it out there. And also that can be something that maybe when you were asking all those questions, she mentioned that. Well, you know, we know the furnace is older. Okay, great. So you've all, you know, like you're uncovering the issues before the issues present themselves. So the next one, oh, sorry, buyer's agent. Okay, so let's say we're on the seller side and you've got a buyer's agent coming in that's going to show your listing. So it's the same thing on the other, on just the other direction. Listen, we've already had thank you for showing the property. Really appreciate it. We've already had our inspection done, our pre-listing inspection, and these were the concerns that we know that might pop up. And my clients are willing to deal with this and this and this, but they are absolutely not going to take care of this. Say it up front. Like, we know it's an issue and it's not going to happen. So if you love the house, great, but just know ahead of time. That's already been negotiated. Then they know that they can't really bring it up. Or if they do, they know your answer. And then maybe you can negotiate it down. But if you automatically say it beforehand, it helps. Vet your sellers. Listen, they're already ready to go. They've got somewhere to move. There's not going to be an issue with having them get out of the house. Here's our past inspection. Here's the radon test that they did last year. Any service repairs that they've recently done. Provide all that information up front. More information, the better. And it makes, like I said, the negotiation process so much smoother when it comes down to it, by addressing it up front. Oh, and then asking questions as well with that. Ask them, because you're also wanting to do this for your seller. So what issues could come up with your buyer? What are their jobs like? Especially here with COVID, we're vetting that right before we go to closing. You're asking the same questions the other way. So
I have a question.
yes.
Do you tell your listing agent what kind of price you're going to present the offer? Do you, because then they can go out there and try to push somebody to a high, we already have a bidding wars. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a case by case situation, and it depends on, like, these are questions that you'll know before you're going to show it. Do you have any current offers that are already on the table? What is your showing schedule been like? Has it been pretty heavy? What feedback are you receiving? But they're going, after you make that phone, you're going to make that phone call right before you send it. So she's going to see the price anyway, that you guys are offering. So it's kind of however you feel most comfortable moving forward. But ultimately, you want to put your best, like, that's a whole other class of, like, how are you gonna present the offer in terms of putting your best foot forward to have the best offer that could be presented among multiple offers. But I think, you can't control what other people do. You can only control what you do. So I would, put your best foot forward with your offer, and whether you say it on the phone or you send it in an email 5 minutes later, I don't think it really matters.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so potential buyers. This is one I obviously have a lot of experience with. I do market on Zillow. And these are essentially they're cold calls coming through. And when they do, I have only a few minutes to capture them before they are ready to hang up on me. And so I immediately, like, people want to know that you understand the situation. They don't know, if I'm, this is my very first transaction or if this is my 100th transaction. They have no idea over the phone, and just off of a name. So you need to let them know without tooting your own horn. Just say, listen, I understand this is such a tough market. And I'm sure you, as you know, like, you've been seeing these houses are, as soon as they're on the market, they're off the market. And I know it's tough to miss it. You really need to, you don't want to miss out on the house. But please know that if you're going to work with me, we can do, I understand how to work around multiple offers, and I understand that how to present a quick close with a good lender. I have great lenders that I work with on a regular basis. But yeah, because the market is moving so quickly, this is what I do. And then give them your game plan. Say, I have something set up on the MLS that once I know exactly what your search criteria is, I'm getting dings every 2 hours of anything new that's popping up. So as soon as it hits the market, it's hitting my phone and I'm calling you saying, hey, we need to go see this one tonight. It's amazing. And so because of that, I'm on it. You know, you're providing value, you're showing them what you're going to do, and you're giving them a little bit of an insight of it. You do understand how difficult it is to purchase a house right now, and being in the buyer side. So it kind of gives them a little bit of reassurance that they're with somebody that knows what to expect and what to happen. I feel like I'm kind of talking fast, so I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm.
Can
if you have
I
any questions.
interrupt you really quick?
Yeah,
Because I'm
please.
sure on Zillow all the time, because I get this with regular sign calls, that people are like, oh, I just want to see this house. I just want to see this house. What do you do for that?
Well, I just say, listen, because I use COVID as my reason why, you know, I said, listen, where are you at in your buying process? I just have a couple questions for you. I'm happy to show you the house. I just have a few questions for you. Where are you at in your buying process? Have you spoken to a lender? Do you have a pre-approval letter? I say, and the only reason why I'm asking is because listing agents on the other side, they don't want anyone just coming through because of COVID. So I really just need to make sure that we're on the same page, so that I can make this as I can get us in. And then a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, well I talked to my bank last week, but I don't have a pre-approval letter. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then it just starts the conversation. It opens it up. But yeah, I definitely blame COVID. It's been great. That's the only great thing about COVID.
That one was a long one because it's with 7 different people. We usually get it done in 2 hours, you know.
Yeah.
It's after school and it's the 7 different panel for
Marley, you need to mute.
I got her, sorry. I thought someone was asking a question. I'm like, what? Okay, so then let's see. So we have.
Oh wait, can I say one thing too?
Yes.
I just like even how you started the class and kind of how you've been going through kind of what you're saying. I just feel like if I was a buyer in that situation or seller or whatever, like validating my concerns and then being like, I have a solution for this. It just feels like so, like it puts me at ease. You know what I mean? And especially right now with how like scared I feel like people are.
Mm-hmm.
And as agents, like I recently kind of struggled with a buy sell because they didn't want to put their home on the market unless if they had something to buy. And I feel like if I had more confidence, like it just exudes confidence to me, right?
Yeah. And I'm going, thanks, Paris. And I'm going through this kind of fast and I should probably slow down a little bit, but I think that's exactly what I'm trying to do, right? Is just show them that, listen, it's not as scary as you think. You've got somebody here that's going to handle it for you. I know what to do. I've done this before. I know exactly, you know, the complexity of your situation, especially when you're coming to a potential seller. You know, everyone says, oh, the seller side is so easy it's so easy for sellers right now in this market, but it's kind of tricky. It's really hard for them right now. And I think that a lot of agents aren't really, you know, addressing those concerns for sellers. So we'll get into it, but yeah, I think that that's where you're creating the confidence and you're creating the bond and the relationship with your clients that they can trust you and that you've got it figured out, especially when you're on the other line with another agent and you've already ticked all of these boxes before she's even had to ask for it. She knows where your earnest money is and where it's going and how much it's going to be. She knows which lender you're working with. She knows, you know, that, you know, their ability to close, like all of these things. She's like, sweet, I got an agent that's going to do all the work on the other side. I don't have to chase her down. It makes all the difference, you know? And so, and it really, and when you've got somebody on the other side doing that and you feel confident with, the negotiation's the easy part. They trust you. They're like, yeah, well, she wants to get this, you know, done and let her get her family on with it. Let's just get this done. Let's make it happen. If she likes you, people want to do things for people they like.
Got another question for you.
Yeah.
So when you're working with a buyer, do you typically kind of tell them all about your buyer first and then ask them about their seller and what they're looking for, or what do you how do you usually do that?
Oh, so like if I'm talking to a seller's agent? Yeah. First, I want to get all that information from them. I want to know everything, because if I can get them talking, then she'll tell me all the fears, and then I don't have to just like be throwing information and hoping it sticks to the wall. You know, I can pinpoint what I'm saying to tailor to their wants and needs. Yeah, for sure.
Very good.
Question. But yeah, so let's talk about potential seller, right? Potential seller, they're getting marketed from every agent across the valley right now, right? Like if they sneeze that to their one friend that they might want to sell their house, like forget it. They've got 4 people calling them. So, you know, with the potential seller, their concerns are, and these are the ones you want to address straight out the gate, is listen, I know you're concerned about having strangers come through your house during COVID. How are you going to keep your family safe? You know, what if your house sells before you find something new? Then what are you going to do? You know, what if it doesn't sell? How much is it worth? How much am I going to sell it for? You know, this is what my neighbor sold, but I don't know if my house is going to sell for that much, you know? And what do I need to do to get my house even ready to sell? You know, like, do I need to paint this room? Do I need to get new carpet or whatever, right? So you set up the game plan for them. So listen, I'm going to come over and let's talk about all these things. I'm going to make you feel really comfortable. Just need a half hour of your time. You know, if it comes up to where, yeah, what if my house sells before I find a new house? Well, we can go ahead and purchase your new house and use a bridge loan as a down payment, because a lot of times people need people need the money out of their current home to purchase a new home. So we will use the equity in that home that they're going to sell and get a bridge loan in order to purchase the new home. So then they're not in this time frame of like, I got to get out of here. And sometimes it makes people feel more comfortable if that's an option for them. Then they don't have to be in the house while we're having showings. It can be shown vacant. So, wow, I never even thought of that. You're instant hero in their eyes. And then, yeah, you know, what is my house worth? I'm happy to do. I'm going to put together an in-depth cost analysis for you, a market analysis for you, sorry. And I'll show you everything that has sold in your area that's comparable to your home. And it'll be really easy, laid out in a nice book for you to read. And then we can discuss those comps together. You know, when I'm there, I'll go through your house and tell you, people are really surprised that I don't need you to do more than, they think that they need their house to look like, you know, a house out of Architectural Digest. Well, it doesn't. Houses are selling pretty quick. So let me come over and help you put some of those concerns to rest, because it's really not as bad as you think. Your house is beautiful. And it's like, oh, okay, well, she's got all these ideas and all these answers. She's done this before. I feel comfortable with her, you know? So again, you're negotiating without feeling like you're negotiating, you know, by providing all of this value and showing that you know what their concerns are, you understand the complexity of what their transaction is going to look like, and you know how to handle it, is going to be just night and day difference from them and what they think of you versus another agent. So let's see. So I kind of breezed over this, but yeah, asking questions and finding the hesitations. So we need to ask the questions to find out if they're 100% on board with what we're saying, because you'll know immediately if they're not like giving you all of the responses of, you know, that sounds so good. I really appreciate that information. Wow, that actually helps. Yeah, maybe you can come over at this time. If they're not already telling you all of these things, then there's something that you haven't addressed. So let's find the hesitation by asking the questions. And the questions can be like with the buyer or seller, what's your time frame? What are you thinking? You know, what's the vision? If in a perfect world, how is this transaction going to transpire for you and your family? Do you have plans for children? Are your kids about to leave the house? What are your work goals? You know, sometimes I've had an instance where someone they were kind of looking all over the map, and I couldn't pinpoint them down on a certain location. And finally, after our second time out, I just said, listen, what gives? Why are we in Sugar House last week and we're in Sandy this week? You know, she's like, well, my job, I might quit, but I didn't want to tell anybody yet because I'm kind of feeling nervous about it. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it. So ask the questions beforehand. Had I known that, I could have saved us all a bunch of time before, you know, and then we could have tailored the search differently. But yeah, find the hesitation and say, hey, I noticed you hesitated. Just stop, listen. there's so much power in silence. Stop talking and let her talk, let him talk, let him explain why he hesitated. And then from there, you know, it creates trust because you cared enough to ask. You were paying attention. You weren't just trying to get your agenda pushed across. And now you've won because you've figured out where the weakness was, and now you can overcome that obstacle and move forward. With agents,
Can I ask a question?
oh, go ahead. Yes.
So this, you know, going to sellers, giving them your game plan, giving your value, like telling them what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Where do you work in like the contract, like working with you moving forward? Like, how do you kind of time that before like telling them everything to do to get ready to go on the market, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Or,
okay. So when I come over for a seller situation, like for a listing.
yeah.
Okay. So when I go over there, I make the listing appointment essentially, and I bring the CMA, and we're going over everything. I have everything with me, and it's already filled out, and I just say, okay. And it kind of depends. Like, you really know ahead of time, right? You know if you're going to get it or not. And a lot of times, most of the time, I already know if I'm going to if I'm going to get it. And so I'll have it filled out, or I have it already put into DocuSign. It's ready to go. And but sometimes, yeah, if there's like a name that needs to, you know, maybe they have it in a trust, or they have a certain way they want to spell their name, but you can usually find that out on the title report beforehand, or, you know, on the county information. So I just have it already, and I just say, okay, well, here's the information. I can get my photographer out here next week. We'll go ahead and go over this paperwork right now if you want, or I can do it over the phone afterwards, depending on how you guys are on the time. Maybe they have got kids and they want to start dinner or whatever. But yeah, you just fill it out. When's right. I'm not pushy with it. You don't have to be pushy. If you're doing all of these things and they like you and you're providing the value, they're going to do it. You know, I don't want to talk someone into working with me. You know, I know what I bring to the table is great. And I know that people love when they do work with me. I've never had a client that was left dissatisfied. So if you want to work with me, great. I've got all the paperwork right here. If not, no worries, no harm, no foul. But I'm always nice. I'm always nice, no matter what.
I love that.
Okay, so with other agents, yeah, I just flat out ask them, what's it going to take? What does it take to get this job done? Like, what do your clients want? You know, whether it's a buyer or seller. If you're a buyer, like, what is it that they need exactly? You know, because I'd rather get straight to it. Like, I know, like, we have to be careful, and we're trying to protect our clients' best interests, and for sure keep that in mind, absolutely. But what's it going to take? Once you build that rapport and you have that kind of trust and that relationship with the other agent, and you guys are kind of laughing and you're able to say, hey, you know, that windstorm was insane. I lost 3 trees last night. How was are you guys okay? And then just be like, listen, this has been just such a crazy week. We really want to get this one done. What's it going to take to make your clients happy? I want to make sure this is a win-win on both sides. They love it. Just ask. People, you know, you don't have to be scared and dance around it. Just come right out and ask them. What does the perfect situation look like for your clients? What do they need? How much do they love the house? You know, that kind of thing. Do they need extra time? Do they need time to move out? Stuff we already know. But I think that's kind of it. I mean, do you guys have any questions? We can go over, actually, let's go over it. So different personalities, Liz. I think that just giving it all up front, and you know, if they want to respond, great. If they don't, they don't. But you've done your job by giving them all the information and addressing any potential fears that could be happening. But it sounds like, and from what I know of you, you probably do all of that already. So you might just get those people that are quiet and don't respond to you because they already know everything, that you've already given them all the information.
I'm wondering if you have any tricks to try to get them talking first. Because like I said, if they're a D or an I can get them talking really easy.
Mhm.
most of the time, but sometimes they're just like, don't want to tell me. And so, and I'm trying to think of what I've used in the past, but it's usually like, hey, I want to create a win-win deal. Like the more you tell me, the better I can do
Yeah.
to create that winning offer and not have to go back and forth a bunch. But I just didn't know if you have any special scripts.
I mirror them. I mirror them. Like I've had a couple of them this year, and I just don't waste my time about it. Like I used to get worked up over it because I'm so in your face and personable. And before COVID, I'd be hugging you, even if you're on the other side. Like I don't care. But it's just one of those things where, you know, if that's how you feel comfortable, I'm not going to make you uncomfortable by pushing my personality on you. And so just mirror it, you know, give them all the information, be the best agent that you can be on coming from your from your side of the transaction, and just don't, because it might make them uncomfortable if you're trying to get them to do something that they automatically aren't comfortable doing.
I've totally been there too.
Like me. Talk to me. Yeah, no, I totally get it. So I don't know. That's probably the only tip I've got for you. Just let them do them. You know, not everyone is as fun as us.
It was really funny. I had this one agent that wouldn't tell me anything about his clients. We were in multiple offers. He picked the other offer, came back to us like within 48 hours and was like, oh yeah, I guess the wife hadn't seen the house. I was like, oh, that's a rookie mistake. And I was kind of teasing him. He's like, I didn't realize that was something I needed to even ask in this market. I was like, I wouldn't either. And it was funny because had he just told me about his clients, he would have gotten a free lease back and more money. But since he didn't tell me anything, I got my clients a better deal. And I use that all the time. Like when I go up against somebody that doesn't want to tell me, I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know, like I did have an agent one time not want to tell me anything and kind of missed the mark for his client. And most of them they're like, oh, well, yeah, here's what we need then.
That's great, Liz. I have not done that. Okay, well, I'm going to remember that. I'll write that one down. Yeah, I had it happen this summer with a homie agent. And I just realized, I looked her up and she had like, I don't know, 300 listings. She's like, I can't give you any information. I'm like, well, do you have multiple offers? I can't give you any information. She wouldn't tell me anything. And so, I mean, I definitely said it in front of their ring when I was showing it for the second time. I said, I'm really sorry. I want to give you more information to my clients as I'm opening the door. I really want to give you more information, but I can't because their agent won't tell me anything. I don't know if they have another offer and I don't know what's the most important to them. You know?
Love it. Right in front of their ring camera.
The message got across.
Well, you know,
needless to say, we didn't get the house. It went somewhere else, but whatever. But that one actually did fall apart, and we were under contract on another house by then. And she did call me back and say, "Hey, it's available if you guys are interested." I said, "Oh, we've moved on, but thanks."
Like, oh, sorry, you should go eat dirt and learn who your clients are.
This is such a lesson, like because there's so many people. There's so many people that. All these, just because they're going on multiple offers quickly doesn't mean they're closing. There's a lot of homes falling out. Like you have to keep these relationships going. That's why I say always be relentlessly nice. People will always remember you, you know, because you never know what's going to happen down the road. Okay, Beth, so negotiating referrals. Okay, so what I've been doing is, you know, it's the same kind of thing. Listen, if you've got anyone, they always say, Rachel, you're so amazing. You helped us. This was awesome. Thank you so much for everything. This was great. You're wonderful, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Well, listen, you've got friends and family I know that are looking. Everybody's hating their house right now because we're all stuck indoors. So think of me if you can, you know, you say your automatic stuff and then reach back out after they've closed. A week or two has gone by. They've moved in. They're getting settled. How's it going? Did you have your housewarming party? Where was my invitation? I didn't get it. Just like make a joke about it. And then say,
I like that one.
Who do you know? Who do you know? What's going on? Like, who do you know that needs it? And say, okay, fine. Will you go on Google or will you go on Zillow and do a refer or do a, I'm going to send you a link. Will you do a
review?
Yeah. And then it comes up, you know, and then when you're making your phone calls every quarter, I know that Lee wants me to make them a lot more often than that, but when I am making them, it's like I do say, hey, anyone buying and selling in your family and friends looking or thinking about it? But a lot of times, honestly, like I'm getting people that are just coming out of the woodwork and saying, hey, Rach, I referred you to someone at my office. They're awesome. You know, great, send me their number. You know, in fact, this summer I had one. I had helped a gal sell her house last year. And this was a really valuable lesson for me, actually. I helped her sell her house, and her neighbor wanted to sell their house about 6 months later, and they were still friends. Even though she'd moved out of the neighborhood, they'd stayed friends. And I was at the bank at Zion's right here. I used to go over and hammer my checks. Dave Frederickson always laughs at me, but I like to feel the cash. So I'd go over there and hammer my commission checks. And so this gal is sitting there, and I know all the tellers there, and she's like, we're talking about selling real estate and everything. And this other girl comes up, she goes, oh, you know, I was thinking about selling my house. And I'm like, oh, where is it? And so we got talking, and she said, oh, it's on Downingtown. I said, oh, I sold my girlfriend's house on Downingtown, 739. She goes, oh, 781. And she goes, are you Rach the realtor? I'm Rach the realtor.
Awesome.
And anyway, so I ended up selling their house and helping them buy like an $800,000 house over in Harvard Yale. And so then I immediately called Claire, my friend. I said, girlfriend, she almost went with another agent. I'm like, if you know someone, you have to call me and give me their number, because I don't want anyone else to help your friends. What if they don't get taken care of? She laughed and she goes, that's right, I should have done that.
Yeah. And do you know what percentage of your clients have given you referrals, more or less? I mean,
I haven't done the math on that. I know that it's a very close tie of 50-50. Well, I've been about 40% of my business this year has been from referrals.
Oh,
maybe 45, almost 50% has been from referrals. And I think that really just comes with time. It really does. It comes with time, and it comes with people seeing you online and on Facebook and Instagram, and just kind of always be putting out that information, reminding people, making your phone calls, just putting it back out there. Hey, I'm an agent. Don't forget about me.
So in your quarterly calls, that is a must. You're just saying, hey, do you know anyone who wants to buy and sell? I'd love to take care of your peeps.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, and Paris knows this about me. I'm not always doing the quarterly calls as I should. But it's casual, and it comes up like, if I'm in the car, I might make 2 or 3 phone calls when I think about it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like I sit down and make 200 phone calls or whatever it is.
Right.
I could never. I'd have so much anxiety. I'd be drunk. I can't handle it. But yeah. So I mean, it's more or less of, hey, you know the game. I'm always looking for deals. Feed your friend. And they always laugh, and I keep it really light. I don't want to be like salesy, you know. But I think just because I have that personality, it makes people, they don't want to turn their friends over to a piranha, you know, or their coworkers. They don't want to be like, oh, I've got to give you a name, and then this person's going to get a phone call from you, and they're going to be like, oh, why did you stick that salesperson on me? You know, like, it's not my vibe. Provide information, make jokes about it, and it will come. It really will. They just start coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I speak a little bit on that? Because I was actually just thinking about this today.
Okay.
I feel like the first, and maybe you had the same experience, but I feel like the first couple of years in the business, I had to be super purposeful about making sure I was making all the calls and doing everything right on time. And the longer I'm in it, and I don't know if this is good to say or not, but the longer I'm in it, the more I feel like it can be like you, Rachel. I can kind of be more relaxed. And like when I think of somebody, I just call them, and it's way more natural. Yeah. But I think when you're newer and you don't have a huge referral business, I think you do have to be more purposeful. I don't know if you feel the same way about that, or.
I 100% agree with you. Absolutely. And a lot of times, do you know the prompting to make those phone calls are when I'm driving in their neighborhood, and I'm like, I'm going to an appointment, or I just showed a house. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just passed your house. How are you guys? Like, I'm showing a house around the corner. And they're like, oh, you should have stopped by. And that's how you make those connections, and like make some people feel like you weren't just a name on a list that they're checking off. And even if, okay, so say like you are just sitting at your desk, they don't know that. Call them and say, hey, I was driving in your neighborhood yesterday. I was thinking, how are you? You probably were driving by the neighborhood, maybe on your way to Smith's, you know, who knows? But I'm just saying, like, you don't want to lie to them, but you know, like come from a more natural approach, not this like, hello, this is Beth from Keller Williams Salt Lake City. How's it going? You know what I mean? Like I hate scripts, and Lee and I butt heads on a lot of things. Paris has been in meetings where I'm like, no, I won't do that. And she's like, well, you're gonna have a problem. I will not do that. I just know what works for me and I know what doesn't. And I'm not gonna put myself and expose other people to me being so uncomfortable by doing something I hate. You know, this is why I got into this business, is so that I can do what I enjoy. And so I have found the ways of working the business to where it feels comfortable and it comes across natural because I enjoy it.
That's very refreshing to hear that, because I feel the same thing about scripts. I can't do it.
Yeah, and Marley, I think
business, you know, I can't do it.
Yeah, well,
Like a phone.
but you find a script that works for you, and maybe not a script, but just have a casual conversation. You still have to do the work to create the momentum. I've told Paris this a million times over the last 2 years, is that that real estate is a momentum-based business. You know, it's really hard when you turn it off to get it started again. But Marley, you and I just talked about this at the beginning of class. Once you get going, it's like a snowball. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. So every single day, make 2 or 3 little phone calls. Hey, what are you doing? I'm in your neighborhood. How's it going? Like, we need to grab a coffee soon. Or, hey, you know, I saw that I keep saying this, the trees, because that's been the topic of conversation, because I live in Highland Park and we lost so many trees. But, you know, I saw that tree next to your house got taken down. I'm so glad your house was safe. How are you guys holding up? You need anything, you know? I was delivering, it's a new word, delivering generators that I rented at Home Depot to people that I knew were still out of power, you know, when all that was going on. Like anything you can do, just be your genuine, authentic self, be helpful, be kind. It just goes such a long way. Yeah, more than you know. And it's just those little things on a daily basis or a weekly basis that make you shine. So, Paris, shift in mindset, style, scared, hesitant. What do you think? I should have muted you.
Yes, I think I have a bunch of ideas around that. So
Did
I
we
won't
cover
talk.
some stuff for you, or do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I think I got a lot of really good takeaways. And yeah, so you don't have to.
Cool. And then I don't know if is Phoenix still on, or did he take off? I think he is gone. Okay. Well, my friends, is there anything else that you guys have questions about, or anything I can help you with?
I heard you saying earlier that you said that you work with Zillow a lot. Because our broker is not crazy about Zillow. So tell me a little bit about that.
A lot of people aren't crazy about Zillow. I particularly am not crazy about Zillow. Paris was my advertising partner on Zillow for a while, so she understands the ins and outs of it pretty well as well. So yeah, I mean, with real estate, I feel like you need to have several different funnels of lead generation coming in, whether that's open houses, door knocking, phone calls, online advertising, you're doing Facebook advertising, Zillow advertising. Zillow's not what it used to be. It's not a long-term thing. It's going to fall apart here in the next maybe 6 months to a year. I don't think that the average agent's going to be able to just buy leads. Well, you can't buy leads now, everything's sold out, but yeah, I mean, it's not great, but my whole thing is I've been kind of buying Zillow ads since I got started in real estate here in Utah, and it's been enough for me to keep it going. I'm frustrated more than I'm happy with it, but you know, it works. So I'm gonna just ride that train till it doesn't work anymore. So this is where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm leaving to a meeting, but thank you so
Great.
much. That was
You
wonderful.
guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone showing up. Beth, have a great day. Good luck with your meeting.
You're on the radar. You're going to be teaching again, my friend.
I will not. I hate this. Just kidding. I don't hate
You
it. I
did
love you
really
guys.
good. You
Oh,
did
you're so
amazing.
sweet. Thanks,
And you're
Liz.
like 10 times more prepared than most of our instructors. So thank
Oh, well, thanks.
yeah, I'm telling you, I
Paris,
promise. You did
I,
great.
8 o'clock last night, Paris and I were, I was having a complete meltdown on the phone yesterday.
Well, I hope you feel better now because I promise you really did amazing.
Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. That means the world. Marley,
Yes.
good luck to you.
Great.
I hope
Thank
that,
you.
I hope
Next
that
time you hear from you, I'm going to have a few under my belt. Thanks so much.
Okay, good. Well, you take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Paris, I'll call you.
I'm very good.
How do I end this?